everybody. It's a special After Dark edition of the Turnbuckle Bandwagon because we're both drinking. My guest today is a writer contributor over at Bumwine Bob and Pro Wrestling Pro. Her reviews have become kind of legend or streams of consciousness. Tiffany Merryhill. Tiffany, what's up?
Hey, everybody. Good to see you, or good to see you, Matt. And
Nice. How are you?
have everybody else see me.
Yeah. Now, before we get into this, you traveled out for the last show up at Atlantic City. How did traveling go in this post or present COVID world for you?
I had a great time. I'll say that for that much. Travel in itself, like tomorrow when I get on a plane to go back, that's the hardest part because travel is not easy these days. You have to make sure you have your mask on, make sure everything's is safe and as sanitary as possible. And so that's my biggest deal because every flight out of my little town of Little Rock is full.
Oh.
And so, tomorrow is going to be a full flight. And so I'm kind of worried because not a lot of people around here do the mask thing. They are enforced. I'm flying American, which is enforced. So that's good, but you never know. So that's the hardest part. Getting to Atlantic City, like last time I was there, though, that was my first time in Atlantic City.
Okay.
And that was, I had a great time. That was if anybody's going to Atlantic City, that would be the thing to do, to go to a GCW show or a Beyond show or go to any kind of wrestling. I think that town is kind of like made for things like wrestling anyway.
Yeah, I think it's always been a show town, big show, little show. You've got space, a show's going to happen.
Absolutely.
For me, I'm in Connecticut, so if I'm going to go to Atlantic City, I've got to drive. It makes no sense for me to fly, and it's about a 4.5 hour drive. I'm going down through New York. I may go. Tickets are still on sale, folks. If you're in the area, you can get there and go. Second row seats, individual are opened up. Second row group, third row group, standing only. So there are tickets available. Beyond's always been good about prices. They're good. They're good to great prices within your range if you're wanting to go. So I may hop in the car but early on Sunday and drive out there and then drive back Sunday night.
It must be nice. That's the nice thing about you living up there in Connecticut. I was talking to some other people that live up there, and I'm like, y'all have everything so close together. Me down here in Arkansas, I want to see what I consider the best and beyond. That got me back into wrestling to begin with. I have to make a trip, but it's worth it. It's just so worth it. I get excited. I'm getting excited right now just thinking about Sunday. And that show is, so to me, that the whole trip out there is a part of the adventure. And it was an adventure last time. I was very drunk. If anybody heard me at the last show, but 2 weeks notice was a very memorable event for me. That was my first Beyond show, and Atlantic City was the best possible venue for that.
Yeah, it's here in Connecticut, the New England has just a lot going on. Last summer I was at shows every weekend between
that's living the dream.
Yeah, between Northeast Wrestling, I can go into the city for House of Glory or other shows down there. Western Mass Wrestling, PvP, Limitless up in Maine. There was when things, I don't know, whatever normal we get back to, but last summer I had a good summer because I was at show again almost every weekend. My very understanding girlfriend was like, all right, it's Saturdays, but Sundays we gotta go get brunch and go get dinner and do nice things, and you have to put pants on.
I remember when I first started following you, and it's been about a year. We've been following each other for a while. And I would see you go into these shows, and I was thinking back then, I was like, man, that must be nice. So
big shows, little shows. I mean, when I go to a Western Mass show, Western Mass, they run a small room in the second floor of a club, and it's 200 people, but it's a fun show. Matthew James and those guys. My last unofficial preview show with Big Bacon, he competes at Western Mass and PvP a lot. They're great shows because you get to see these guys not only at Beyond, but at these places, and you kind of maybe see different aspects of them, except for Chuck O'Neill. He's pretty much the same everywhere.
He's the same. He's static. Or not static, but yeah.
What you see is what you get with Chuck.
Yes.
He doesn't do meet and greets. He doesn't sell merch. He comes out.
I couldn't see Chuck doing a meet and greet at all, just from, I've never met the guy. I could not see him, of course, just seeing him from what I know. No, that's just not in him.
You in Arkansas, just like Chuck O'Neill walks out and it's just boo. Like there's no middle ground. Boo.
I love that. I love it. It's
So
it's,
good.
it's so fun to hate him. You
Yeah,
know,
he makes it work because he's a good wrestler. He's just
he's damn good. I mean, when I first saw him, I was like, God, that guy is great.
yeah.
And his character came along after. When I first saw him, I didn't realize he was that hated. Because
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, MMA guy. And then I saw what he could do, and I was like, holy man, he's good. And then I was like, oh, everybody hates him. Oh, he's fun to hate. Never mind, he's great
Yeah,
to
it's
hate.
so great. It's one of the highlights of the show.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
all right, so let's get into this card where sunscreen. A couple matches were announced today, so I'm kind of gonna throw these out in no particular order, and we'll both kind of see what happens. One of the I think it was announced yesterday. I'll just jump back and forth. Alley Cat versus Slade. I think Beyond's trying to kill Alley Cat.
DC has a vendetta, and I was there. I was at the Backyard show in July to see that go down. I saw DC go in the pool. I mean, there was no coming back from that. Alley Cat, I love her. I love her, but she pissed him off. And I saw that last month in Atlantic City when she came and she did her thing at Beyond. And at 2 weeks' notice, she did her thing, and DC could not embarrass her there. This might be DC's chance to embarrass the hell out of Alley Cat. I love her. I love her to death, but I don't see this going. I don't see this going in her favor.
No, having a little more experience with Slade, having seen him at places like Western Mass and PvP and Creator Pro, like Bacon said on our last show, Slade's killer.
Yes.
He comes out and he just annihilates people. Anyone who watched Uncharted Territory, he
Yeah.
came out and decimated Aaron Work. I mean,
and knowing that, having seen that on Uncharted Territory, and when I first saw this match was announced, I was like, what the hell are they trying to do with Alley Cat? My girl is going to die.
It's funny because like I've seen Slade at Beyond shows when he wasn't competing, when he was just kind of hanging out and helping out. Like when he's in the building, I feel a little safer because no one's going to do anything.
That guy has vibes that just don't make me feel comfortable.
He walks in the room up, someone's getting hurt, and it's not me. I'm gonna go stand over here somewhere out of the way.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how it's gonna go down on Sunday, but I just don't. I mean, unless a miracle of God happens. This ain't gonna go down for my girl.
Well, last time, when Hammer against Max, the Shukru got involved, and Effie ran out in his fantastic overalls.
I want to see my daddy again in AC. I really do. I didn't want to say too much, but to see Effie.
Effie I heard about a year and a half maybe ish ago, and I had just seen his following on social media, and then like saw a match before I knew of anything else about him. I was like, dude can wrestle, dude can fight. And then I started seeing all the other stuff, and I was like, all right, it's different. It's Effie. I can't even explain.
It works.
It works. It works so well. It really
works. He makes his whole Effie-ness. He makes it pop, and he makes me pop. I love him. He has my heart, and he knows it. And the way that he got to it is his charisma, and that's the only way to say it. That's the word for it. He has the charisma of an '80s rock star type of gimmick. And that's what I felt when I first saw Effie. So if we see Daddy this weekend.
He's got a show, I guess I was listening to, if anyone's going to watch this, he does a weekly Monday Not Raw on his Twitch that is 3 hours of just
great.
It's amazing.
I try to make it every time.
I try. I've missed a couple, but he does an amazing show.
Every time.
And he was talking about, he has a show on Sunday, and he's like, I hope I get done because I want to go watch the Beyond show. Yes. So you may get a chance to see him if they wrap up, I think, either GCW or Jimmy Lord. One of the shows that he's working is on around the same time as Beyond. He's like, hopefully they finish and I can go get over to the Beyond show.
That's what I want to see, because otherwise I don't feel good about Alley Cat being in the ring with Slade.
All right. One match they announced today, and this one I was kind of excited about. Culture Season, Christian Casanova.
Yes.
For tomorrow, and Miss Tasha Steeles going up against Injustice, Jordan Oliver and Myron Reed, who made their Beyond debut 2 weeks ago. People sleep on Injustice, and then
they really do.
I mean, anyone seen MLW? They have wins over most of the tag teams in MLW. I think they even got a win over the Lawler somehow, or the
I want to say this about Injustice. My first time seeing them live was last month at 2 Weeks Notice Against Bear Country.
Yeah.
And what I saw there was like, oh gosh, okay, these guys are legit. I mean, really legit. So this is like one of those, that was Salem. Let me get back up here. Salem, say hello. He went to the counter. Anyway, that match was my introduction to Injustice.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, I was like really, really like these. Where the hell have these guys been? Because honestly, I need to start watching more MLW. That's where these guys been. But to see them go up against somebody like, or it's a team like Bear Country, who aren't, at the moment, I don't think they're meshing all that well. That's just my opinion. But to see that matchup, and for Injustice to kind of go beyond what I thought they would do, I thought it was kind of going to be a squash.
Yeah, I think Myron Reed especially, and they're both great performers, but Myron Reed, a lot of people sleep on Myron Reed. They look at the size,
Yes.
They look at the attitude, they look at like the chest protector thing and kind of discount him, and then he gets in the ring and like blows people away. And it's just, I saw it in MLW last year when I started watching MLW more regularly, and MLW makes the most of the hour they get on TV.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any hour-long show that does what they do in 60 minutes.
From what I've seen, I don't mean to cut you off, but the MLW that I've seen, they really do. They're a lot like Beyond in the time that they make, because Beyond, you'll sit there and be like, this show does not feel like it. It feels like I've just been sitting here for a little bit, but we've gone through a whole entire program.
Yeah.
Uncharted
territories go quick.
You definitely know. But MLW has that same vibe, and I feel that. And I think I kind of got more into Beyond than I did MLW when I got back into wrestling. But from the MLW that I have seen, I agree with you that whole making the most of the hour, that's a good way to put it. It doesn't feel like any downtime is going on.
No, they do a good job. And one match that was one of the first announced, and there was a video, just a video, Platinum Max Caster taking on, I guess, the Shook Crew with him, Bryce and Bobby, taking on Willow Nightingale. Max dropped a diss track on Willow today. That's kind of spicy. It involves Pop-Tarts and the beach, kind of impugning Willow's character.
Max Caster. Okay, I'm going to say this about him. First off, the diss on Alley Cat last time at 2 Weeks Notice. I know I keep going back to that, but that was such a great show. That was one thing. Yeah. And I think Alley Cat, she survived it pretty well. She came back, and survived it. This diss that came out today, what the hell? I mean, going after Willow. And Willow Nightingale to me is like you can't touch how wholesome she is.
Yeah, she is. Tremendous.
But somehow Max Caster somehow manages to just dig and just and I'm just like, okay, I want to see Willow not just beat him but humiliate him because of this.
And Max was our first guest on the Turnbuckle Bandwagon. He refers to himself as the best wrestler alive.
Well, of course he would.
Of course he would.
Of course he would say that.
The Shook Crew is special in the way that they all manage to work together. Max is an amazing performer. The diss tracks and the rap is like, he's an amazing performer on his own. This just rockets him up, I think. And every diss track he's done, there's maybe one or two that he said aren't his favorites, but most of them are fire and are really good and they're well done. The MSP Back to the Yard one is a standout. Go track that one down. But this one was, I mean, I love A Little Death, but that was, it'll make you think. Like, if you didn't know Willow, you'd be like, maybe.
That to me, yeah. And I'm like, I'm ready. So these diss tracks and these things like that, I think with Max, that really helps because his character is so good. And this is just like the cherry on top of the sundae that he can come out with these fire diss tracks. And so that's going to be a good match to watch just because I'm going to go in personally rooting for Willow. Hopefully I have some bubbles this time again so I can do the bubble thing. And I'm just wanting to see her humiliate him because it's, going in on Willow Nightingale of all people.
Pick on Willow. All right, next one up is an interesting one when they announced it. Gonna be Bear Country, Bear Bronson, Bear Bowler taking on Pretty Popper, Lady Frost, and the Savage Gentleman, Victor Benjamin, who, by the way, great social media follow, lots of good recipes if you're into peanut butter.
Oh, I've seen more things done with peanut butter from Victor Benjamin than I think I've ever seen done in my whole life. This is gonna be fun for me. I like this match because this is gonna be my first time seeing Pretty Proper. Last time was my first time seeing Bear Country for the first time, which was awesome. Their match against Injustice, but this match against Pretty Proper, oh gosh, I want to go with Pretty Proper. I really do. I really do. But at the same time, the Bears need a win. The Bears need a victory, a decisive victory that kind of, puts them together, because they didn't seem so together last time I saw them.
Yeah. I kind of came around on Pretty Proper. First time I saw Victor Benjamin at Beyond, I was kind of on the fence. I was like, I like him. I wasn't too super crazy about like some of the ring gear. I like the hat. I didn't like the big weird vest thingy. I think he just
steampunk kind of look.
Yeah, I dug the hat, and the vest just seemed maybe a little too much. But anyway, that's just more. I'm big into costumes and all that stuff. They're a great tag team. I mean, again, they are a married couple. Lady Frost is a lot better wrestler than people think she is. She's a very attractive lady, but she's also very good wrestler.
She is. If you watch, I first saw them on Uncharted Territory last year, and then I caught their work in Chikara. They just really work good together, and a couple other promotions as well. I mean, and just the characters, they really do a good job in putting their characters together and on social media portraying their characters and things like that. And their costumes, which a lot of time you can tell has gone into them. I just think they really are a kind of like the whole tag team package. And it's like they work as a couple. They really do. They would have fit in, I think, if intergender wrestling was a thing back in the 80s.
Oh, they would have been huge.
They would have been huge. They would have been, could you have imagined them against like Macho Man and Sherry back in the day?
Yeah. Oh, it would have been great.
Yeah, so that like I get that vibe from them. I love them.
Lady Frost comes out rocking a cloak. More clokes in wrestling. People bring the cloak back. Aaron Rourke comes out with the cloak. I dig her. It's a good look if you can make it work for yourself.
Amen.
Next one, and this is kind of I feel like these two matches are kind of like a double main event. First one up, Chris Dickinson versus Priscilla Kelly. I mean, who doesn't love the Dirty Daddy? I've seen the man is. If you were to build a professional wrestler from the ground up, what you get is Chris Dickinson.
That's exactly right. That's a big way, Matt.
There is not a lot he can do. He has amazing matches. He'll wrestle anybody anywhere. I saw him. I went to a PvP show in a mall, and him and I think Teddy Goods or Eric Stevens like beat the crap out of each other. And it was a mall show with like 150 people, and they just went out and just tore each other up. And Priscilla Kelly is who she is. She's another one, likes to fight, doesn't quit. Tampons get involved. Again, she'll fight anywhere.
Might even get vomited on if you're not careful. She'll
fight anywhere. I've seen her wrestle bars. I remember seeing like a weird back, outside of a back near a dumpster thing. There's just you got two.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I was rambling.
About Priscilla Kelly. One of my biggest regrets in the past year is missing her in Memphis. Because I'm here in Little Rock. That's only 2 hours away from Memphis.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, very close. That's how, wrestling in Arkansas is pretty much Memphis wrestling. But she went there for a pro wrestling train wreck. That's the hardcore, death match promotion.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Pro wrestling train wreck. And she went to work for them. And I didn't know at the time. I was just getting back into wrestling and just getting to know who everybody was. And when I found out, that was where Priscilla Kelly was doing all this controversial shit. And that was the show where everybody had to get tested for whatever disease. I was like, damn it, I missed that whole thing.
Damn.
Could you imagine what I would have done, what I would have tweeted about, what I would have wrote about if I was there? Damn it. That would have been the show. So I missed that. That would have been a coup, and I missed it.
I've never seen
Priscilla Kelly was there.
Yeah, but I think and Dickinson doesn't hold back. No matter you put whoever he's across from, he's going to kill them.
Yes. And I but I'm gonna say this though. As much as I was, on when I saw this match announced, I was like, oh wow, Dickinson might really dominate here. I don't think Priscilla's gonna let him. I think Priscilla's gonna, kind of show us some things we don't know about Priscilla.
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. I think we're gonna see kind of a new Priscilla Kelly come out on Sunday. And I think the Dirty Daddy's gonna bring that out of her. I love Dickinson so much, and I will say this: he has a past of making his name with intergender matches. I think what we're going to see this Sunday, not necessarily is going to be on that level of controversy that he first experienced, but I think this is going to be one of those matches we're going to be talking about for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he wants to push himself during his run to American Rana last year. I mean, they put him in the ring with any and everybody who would step in there with him, and they were just banging, hard-hitting matches week after week after week.
Yes,
and then he goes in.
Yeah,
and then he goes in there against Daisuke Sekimoto, and they beat the crap out of each other for 25 minutes.
That's solidified me as a Chris Dickinson fan, that particular match. If anybody asks me what, as a new Dickinson fan, that's going to be high, if not number one, on the list of matches that they should watch.
Check it out, all on IWTV. And then and then this is one, they announced it, and it kind of seemed random to me, but it didn't, based on matches they've had in the past. Joey Janela versus Kimberly. I'll let you go first because I have lots of thoughts about this
match. I'm looking forward to that one. First off, I've never seen Kimberly live, so it's gonna be cool as hell seeing this go on. Secondly, with Joey in an intergender match is good stuff. Y'all remember the match we had with Chris Statlander? I mean, that one of the
best matches of the year last year, I think, was intergender match, just wrestling match.
Wrestling in general, you're right. So knowing Joey can put on that kind of match, intergender match, or match in general, and Kimberly having seen what Kimberly can do, I think we're in line for another fucking, and I don't know if we can use drop it.
But yeah, I'm not gonna.
Okay. I didn't know. We are in for a fucking banger here. Yeah. And I'm all in. I'm all for it.
Yeah, on Kimberly, and to preface a point, I had stopped watching wrestling from like 02 to like 09, 08, 09. I just wasn't happy, and I kind of got out of it.
Yeah.
Falling down a YouTube hole and finding Chikara and a couple other independents in that area, watching Kimberly, kind of got me back into wrestling at that level and getting into independent wrestling and being a fan of Kimberly, because anyone she wrestled, she didn't give up, kept going. She wins the grand champion from Hollow Wicked. Hollow Wicked had been one of the longest reigning grand champions at that point. Really no holes in her game. She goes to NXT, kind of gets wasted there. And then kind of comes out, takes it, and she took some time away and then came back, some physical changes, had dropped some weight, went with new gear, gets in this rivalry with Chris Statlander, starts like just beating people up, gets in this whole thing with the Crucible. There's this journey of Kimberly, out of NXT, and now she's back, in Impact in the women's division, and the Knockouts division is kicking ass again. Probably the best women's division of the companies on TV right now. Yeah, I agree with her. And Janela is, a lot of people know him for like the car crash, death match, getting thrown off a building by Danzig type stuff. But when it's time to wrestle, Joey Janela can fucking wrestle.
Joey can go.
Yeah.
And people don't know that. Yeah, they've been ignorant, and they just haven't looked into what Joey can do. I mean, it's obvious, it's out there. Joey has several matches, and you can ask Joey himself, he'll tell you. He has several matches where he proves he can go. I mean, in my estimation, in his match coming up with Kimberly, this is going to be another opportunity for him to prove, hey, the Joey that you're seeing maybe in death matches, or even the Joey that you're seeing in AEW, might not be the Joey that is real, that we know. That I think is going to come out this Sunday. He's been in his indie matches, so just giving all he's got. And I'm just looking forward to Sunday, seeing what he's going to do in the ring, because Joey on the indie scene is on another level.
Yeah, I mean, I'll point out a couple examples. Last summer, he was at a Northeast Wrestling show. It was him against Big Bacon, Brett Hollister. It was right before the main event. and it was a no disqualification match. They didn't get too crazy, but he did suplex Big Bacon into some chairs. It was a hell of a match right before the Darby Allin match. And then seeing, his match with Statlander, and another live match of his that I had seen at Beyond, the guy just can go. And, I want him to have like the match like he had against Statlander or the one against Big Bacon at the All In event, his match against Hangman Page.
Yes.
That match, in my opinion, that match was is probably the best wrestling match on the show. Not to
that, I would agree. That's not too out there to say. I agree that
taking out like the crazy stuff at the end with like penises. No, just a straight up wrestling match. One of the best, if not the best wrestling match on that particular show. That's the joy I hope that we get to see in AEW one day. But when he comes and wrestles for Beyond or he wrestles for GCW or wherever, that's the joy you get. And it's amazing.
It is.
So I think it's going to be him and Kimberly. I feel like that might be the main event.
I hope so. I really do.
I feel like it should be. It may. I mean, they may have Dickinson and Kelly because if they got something crazy planned. Now, as we can kind of wrap this up, but I have some other stuff I want to ask you about. Like as a relatively new fan to Beyond, because you've really only been following Beyond the past year.
Yeah.
So wait, do you remember the first show you watched? Like, was it an Uncharted territory, or was it like another show?
No, it was definitely an Uncharted territory, and I don't even remember which it was. It was was it May or June? I wrote about it. I'm in the right now, but it was last summer, and it was the match where Orange Cassidy was going up against Still Life.
Oh, okay.
That was my very first time seeing Beyond. Or actually, I'll say this. I had seen kind of a little preview the week before because I was new to IWTV. I was just like, okay, I'm getting back into wrestling. I don't want to watch WWE. No. What's out there? Oh, hey, it's a new platform, IWTV.
For $10 and you get so much.
And that's what I said when I first saw it. I was like, this is WWE Network, but better. That was the first.
There's so much different stuff. You got the Zona 23 with that introduced me to Zona 23 and the Junkyard. Like these dudes, like
I've been introduced to so many promotions, like from Beyond to XSW. There's so many good promotions out there. But that was my last summer, early summer. That was my first experience with Beyond, and I was hooked. I was like, oh, from here, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to watch.
I was supposed to go to one of the season 1 shows. I couldn't get up there. It's about an hour and change drive for me. But the first ones I went to in season 2, the first show, because what happened was I went to that one, and I was able to get at the last job I was at before the job I'm at now. Would get out early. I would get out like 3:30, 4 o'clock. So I would just drive from where I worked right up there out of work. And I would get there, 6-ish, 7-ish. But yeah, they do that show. It's in the second floor of a Polish American club. People go up the stairs, and that room is a second floor room in downtown Worcester.
Worcester. I've been calling it Worcestershire, so I'm glad you said that. I wanted to hear it natively said.
Worcester. Downtown Worcester, which is just kind of a middle class-ish Massachusetts city. They're doing a bunch of construction there. It's just Massachusetts, it's weird with its roads. Anywho. I'm
glad you said that because I am going to Worcester one day, and I want to know how the transportation situation is like.
It's a little, I would say, find someone to crash with who knows the way and just go with them because there's this weird like 6-way intersection when you drive there.
Everybody talks about that.
With no lights. It's just like a stop sign, no lights. So you got crazy. You kind of just Jesus take the wheel and just go.
Welcome to Worcester.
Welcome to Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I made specific trips up there, like to go see Mercedes Martinez wrestle live. I remember the first one I went to was when Sonny Kiss showed up unannounced.
Oh,
that was the first one I was at. I was the July 3rd show because I had the next
Joey's birthday.
Yeah, Joey's birthday show, where Sonny Kiss came out of that box. I remember
that was wonderful against Dickinson. That's probably one of my favorite Sonny Kiss matches.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was a great even friends of mine who aren't wrestling fans, I showed them that, and they're like, "Oh, he's great."
He's great. That's a great match to show newcomers. Yeah.
And then actually the next week he was at the Northeast Wrestling Show against Bacon, and here's the great thing about meeting Joey Janela in person. Like, he shows up in like a shirt and some sweatpants and some flip flops and some slides.
I love it.
It was like every season walker is like, is that Janela? Oh, yep, that's Janela. He just
That's
showing up,
Joey.
just shows up in some sweatpants. And I remember I asked him about the Statlander match that night at the meet and greet, and I was like, he's like probably the best match of my career to date, you know. He's like, and he loved it, and he's like, I'm getting a lot of buzz for it. And I was like, it's I still go back and track it down and watch.
I go back and I do, and just as a Statlander. Well, I am a Joey fan, but I'm a Statlander fan. It broke my heart when she got hurt.
Yeah, it sucked.
So one of the first, you know, one of the first things I did when I found out she got hurt was I went back and watched that match, and just to, this is what at peak both these people can do, at their peak of their career, at the height of what they can do.
And quickly, let me loop back, because we talked about Injustice. We kind of glossed over Culture Season, and I can't talk about Christian Casanova enough.
If you see my tweets, whenever I see Christian Casanova on screen, I have to talk about what this man can do. If I'm not giving what this man can do, I'm just singing his praises. Dude. So Christian Casanova, I'm predicting Culture Season to win. I mean, I know I didn't say that earlier. I nothing against Injustice. I like Injustice. Like I said, I saw them last month, loved them. Culture Season, I think, is going to win this because of Christian Casanova, and I think they're going to mesh so well as a team that I don't think Injustice is going to have a chance, not necessarily against this team.
Oh, Casanova is not just like a rising a star here in New England. I mean, in independent wrestling in general. I mean, there's nothing he can't do. He's been in there with amazing talent. I know he had a Ring of Honor.
He needs to be global. He needs to be everywhere. I think he needs to be up there right now with where like Blake Christian and Alex Zane are. That's where Christian Casanova needs to be. He does not need, I know he's ruling New England. I really do. Yeah. But that's really big fish in a small pond. This guy's worldwide. He's ready.
Yeah. I mean, he had a match with Alex Zane at the All Hands on Deck show last year. One of the best matches of the show. He wins a tournament for tomorrow. Him and Richard Holiday in one of the best matches of the season. Because both of those guys, for as much static as Richard Holiday gets, Richard Holiday.
Richard Holiday is a fucking great guy. I love to hate him. And that's another one that I need to start watching more MLW for, because
I'm a little biased because he's a Connecticut guy, but
yeah, there you go.
See, he's from the area, he's from New Haven. He is a professional wrestler. He is good at professional wrestling.
He really is. I give him hell. All the time when I see him, but I love Richard Holiday, and I mean he presents himself as a wrestler. If you look at him on social media, everything about him says wrestler. This guy has a look. This guy has the personality. All that. So
where's a suit like nobody's business? Like, I've seen him in shows not all the time. I've seen him like walk into a show in a suit, and
he has that air about him. He has that vibe about him, that energy that just he exudes. I'm a professional wrestler, and not just a wrestler, but a professional wrestler. That's him.
It is his job. He takes it seriously, and his style is very, and I don't want to say old school, because I feel like that's maybe not the right word. Everything he does has a purpose. Everything he does, there's no wasted motion with anything.
I don't think it's taking anything away to call that old school, because to me that's a compliment. That's the way I would want to present myself. Everything you do is for a reason. I don't do anything just to, for whatever. It means something, make it mean something and make it memorable. Yeah. Richard Holiday does that.
So they've also got on the card, but they have announced matches for them. Solo Darling, one of my favorites. You see her hat over here.
Yes, I do. I was looking at that, actually.
So Solo is one of those wrestlers who got me kind of to fall in love with indie wrestling. Her and Willow, Bird and the Bee, great tag team. But Solo she has it. She gets in that ring and she just like owns the space. And I can't say enough good things about Solo.
I'm so glad I'm so glad in the past year I've gotten to see her work and just grow. I know she's been around and she's worked and she's built her character and she's built her ring skills and her just honed her talent. And to see her come up in this past year, I'm like, this is good. This is good stuff. I'm happy to see her where she's at right now. Solo's doing really well for herself, and yeah.
One of our great shared moments in watching Uncharted Territory on Twitter together. When Smart, I don't want to. When Smart Mark Sterling dared to put his hands on Officer Magnum.
Yes. Yeah. Bringing up that memory, I'm still very upset.
So hot about it, and I saw.
Yeah.
I'm
so
Mark,
upset about that.
I saw Mark at an independent show like a month later, and I'm like, dude, really?
Really?
Yeah,
Seriously?
really? And he was like, do what I got to do, whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. That would be his answer.
So seeing the comeuppance the next season, Willow comes back and there's this great picture of the picture of Magnum on top of him and Solo just like, ah.
That was one of the best. I got a screenshot and a GIF of that because it was just so perfect. It was so perfect. And yes. Yeah.
Oh, God. I love and I hate Smart Mark Sterling. Like there are things like I love the podcast. Hate when he shows up in that ring and the whole.
That's another one I love to hate. That's another one I just love to hate. Yeah. I hope I see him on Sunday. That's the one that I haven't met Smart Mark yet.
He's always roaming around. Like there's times where I've been to shows that he hasn't worked on where he shows up. So
is he from Connecticut?
Long Island because he's out of Creative Pro school.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, he's with
So he's out of, but he does shows up here in like the Mass and Connecticut area. I hope to see him. Like where I'm at in Connecticut, Northeast Wrestling, like is the next to Beyond is like the big dog promotion. They've been up here for 20 something years. They've had like the big name. They had the only match between the Young Bucks and the Hardys. So NEW is kind of that promotion.
I forgot that Mark was with Creative Pro. That's Pat Buck and those guys.
Yep, it's Pat Buck, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, MJF comes out of there.
That's a big,
that school has Max Caster's out of that school. That school has built its rep as one of the schools here. So Tiff, as we wrap up here, main event aside, taking out the Joey Janela Kimberly match, which matchup you hear is a possible show stealer?
Ooh. Just going through the card in my head, I'm just going to say right now, and this is just me, I know we didn't talk a whole lot about it, but Culture Season and Injustice, y'all watch that match. I'm just telling you, these are some hungry dudes. You got Christian Casanova, you have got Jordan, oh gosh, I'm drunk right now.
Jordan Oliver,
my gosh.
Jordan Oliver, Myron Reed.
All three of those dudes, and no, all four are involved actually. I just know from what I've seen, these are some hungry ass people. So watch for that tag match.
And Tasha's a total badass. Again, part of that Knockouts women's division.
She's out of Nashville, so that tells you she's a badass. I know we didn't talk a whole lot about Tasha, but no, Tasha's still badass out of Tennessee. Watch that match.
Yeah, she's gonna. That and we'll give a little bit of time here just for TV wrestling. The Knockouts division, which had a heyday back then, now, I mean, if you look at that division now, you've got Kylie Ray, Kimberly, Jessica Havoc, Tasha Steelz, Kira Hogan.
All those ladies.
Madison Ray, and every one of them have had, Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary.
Yes.
Everyone, they got bit by the injury, but everyone's back and healthy now. Alicia Edwards, who's a New England woman who I refer to Alicia Edwards as 500 pounds of attitude in a 5-foot frame.
That's nice.
She
put that on a shirt.
Yeah, she's a handful out there. There is right now. I would take that women's division against any other televised women's division.
Oh yeah, put that up against anybody. That up against.
I will take you. Give me 3 or 4 of those women against any other women's division on TV, and I will take the Knockouts.
Yes. They got it going on right now. They got it.
Yeah, it's going. Tiff, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Now you are journeying out to Atlantic City.
I am on a plane tomorrow morning, so I'm going to have to sober up a little bit.
Now there's a GCW show. There's a GCW show, There's another show. Then there's the Beyond show. But I know how many shows are going on this weekend out there?
3 that I'm going to.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 GCW, 1 Beyond. So it's pretty much like it was last time. Actually, it's almost the exact same as it was last time. And I'm probably going to end up getting stuck on the pier again. And
like I said, if I go, I'll come out for the Beyond show because I have to work on
definitely. I definitely want to see you this weekend if I can. I just want
now this might give me to go right now, buy a ticket. I'm gonna have to like get up early. I'm the guy because I like to be early to places. I've gone to shows where like I'll jump in the car and I know it's like a 2-hour drive. Yeah. I leave like 3.5 hours before, like, and I'll get up there early. I like park the car and like listen to podcasts or something.
Right. Yeah.
But I'll jump in the car at 6. I'll be there at 10. I'll hang out. I'll go get lunch or something, and then have to drive back. The 4 hours. So yeah. I'll figure it out. I'll let you know.
Definitely let me know.
Saturday. If I'm going, I'll know by Saturday.
I will be there, and I will try to be as sober as possible.
Promote your socials and everything you got going on right now.
Yeah, you guys can follow me at That Rose Tattoo on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Also, That Rose Tattoo.
Great follow. Great follow.
Oh, thank you so much. You are as well.
Lots of good content and cat pictures.
Yes, yeah, definitely cat pictures. You can read my travels and adventures and stone journeys at Bumwine Bob, and also at Pro Wrestling Post. So yeah, looking forward to writing reviews of this weekend and my little escapades.
I love your reviews because they become like this kind of like stream of consciousness. It's not it's not reading a traditional review. Like you're just kind of in the moment and this is what's happening. And then this thing.
I want to make it as gonzo as possible. Gonzo journalism is putting people right there where I'm at. And so I'm glad you said that. That to me is what I'm really trying to come across with.
Yeah. And honestly, the more brown people talking about wrestling, the better.
Amen.
Amen. We've got to get out there and we've got to kind of do it ourselves. So that's why I'm here. That's why you're here. Black people love wrestling. We like to talk about it.
We've been out here for the longest.
And there's plenty of black folks. Special shout out. You can follow me at Matt P. Douglas. The Turnbuckle Bandwagon is the YouTube, so you can subscribe to that. You can be like maybe the 20th subscriber and I'll send you something. Also, quick shout out. Again, I shouted out last time. The IWTV Black Wrestlers mixtape or BLM mixtape, whatever it is.
Yes.
That was amazing. It introduced me to a couple performers I didn't know about, but it also pumped out like great talents like AC Mack and Lee Moriarty, and showing the championship match where Trish Dora won the Pan-African Diaspora Championship. Check that out. IWTV, it's the best $10 you can spend. You get so much content.
Absolutely.
Again, thank you all so much. At That Rose Tattoo, at Matt P. Douglas. Thank you all, and hopefully see some of you Sunday.
See y'all.